We're going to talk about devil worship in the church. It is very possible, and it is indeed very common, to be a devil worshiper in the church and not know it. To worship something means to love and to honor it. Husbands that love and honor their wives above everybody else are sometimes said to be worshiping their wives. To worship something or someone means to love and to honor them. The things you do to show your love and honor for the object of your worship is also known as a worship. For example, going to choir practice on Saturdays so you can sing in the choir on Sunday is a worship if you do it to show your love for God. We're here today because it's Sunday. We're here because we want to show God that we love Him, and I want to show Him that we honor Him. Our being here today is a worship. Fasting and praying for people with prescribed personal prayers is a worship if you do it to show your honor for God. It is not just what you do, but why you do it that makes what you do a worship. The reason for doing it matters. You see, if I participate in your prayer because you're my friend and I really like you, it may not be a worship. But if I participate in your prayer because God said a prayer should be done for you, that's the commandment of God for you, and I'm part of that prayer because God said it, that is a worship. If you come to choir practice and sing in the choir only when you're paid to do so, it is no more worship but work. It is no more worship if you fast and pray for people only when they can pay you. It is worship if and only if it serves and pleases the object of the worship. If what you do serves and pleases you alone, you're worshiping yourself. That is self-worship. If what you do serves and pleases the devil, don't let anybody deceive you. You're a devil worshiper. If what you do pleases and serves God, then you're a worshiper of God. To worship means to love and to honor something. Go with me to Romans 6. Romans chapter 6. Read verse 16. Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey, whether of sin unto death or of obedience unto righteousness. Thank you. If you're in the church but all you're doing is obeying the devil, you're a servant of the devil. If you're in the church and all you're doing is obeying God, then you're a servant of God. It is possible, my friends, to be in the church and be a devil worshiper. Your ordination and appointment do not matter. It is what you do and why you do it in the church that matter. If what you practice and promote in the church serve the purpose of the devil, you are a devil worshiper. You remember the sons of Eli, Ophni and Phinehas. The first time Samuel mentioned them, it was in 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 3. Samuel called them the priest of the Lord. That means they were ordained. He called them priests of the Lord. But when he talked about them in 1 Samuel chapter 2 verse 12, he called them sons of Belial. He said they knew not the Lord. So it is possible for you to be an ordained minister and be a devil worshipper. He called them SOBs, sons of Belial, because they practiced and promoted evil and devilish acts in the temple at Shiloh. Belial is another name for the devil. Sons of Belial, that I like to call SOBs, are members of the synagogue of Satan. It is possible to be an ordained priest and be a child of the devil. You need to know, who are you worshiping in the church of God? The scribes and the Pharisees, they were not just priests, they were leading priests. They were inside and in charge of the temple at Jerusalem. Jesus told them in John 8:44. John 8:44, Jesus said, "Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do." These were religious leaders. Jesus said they were the children of the devil. He said the lust of their father they will do. The lust of the devil is what the devil likes. The scribes and the Pharisees were devil worshippers in charge. They did what the devil wanted done. You're a child of God. The devil will be more than glad to have you be a devil worshipper in the house of God. Because you see, the devil likes to be undercover. Because if he can successfully plant you inside the house of God, then he can recruit for his kingdom from inside the house of God. Let me ask you something. If we have a sign out here that says Church of Satan, would you be here? No, you won't be here. The devil knows that. So what the devil does then is to plant his children inside the church. So my friends, there are devil worshippers in the church. They are ordained ministers. Sometimes they carry very high and serious ordinations, but they're nothing but devil worshippers. How does the devil get the children of God to worship him inside the house of God? How does he do it? You need to know how he does it. Because you see, if you don't know how he does it, then you're a potential recruit. You need to know how the devil gets the children of God inside the church to worship him. He lures the foolish, fun-seeking children of God into the pursuit of sinful pleasures inside the house of prayer. That's one way he does it. If you are not a smart child of God, you come to church to look for fun. You come to church to look for women. You come to church to get drunk because some elder is luring you into corners with alcohol. You're there in the church, but you're fulfilling the lust of the devil. Don't let anybody deceive you. You're a devil worshiper. The devil lures the foolish, fun-seeking children of God into the pursuit of sinful pleasures inside the house of prayer. The sons of Eli, they were the children of the high priest. But all they cared about in that place was the food and the women. They were priests, but they were devil worshippers. They chased after food and they chased after women. If that is what you're doing in the church, don't let anybody deceive you. You're a devil worshiper. The second way the devil gets the children of God to worship him inside the house of prayer is he exploits the love of money of the greedy children of God. The devil exploits the love of money of the greedy children of God. You see, the scribes and the Pharisees, they had this greed. They valued the temple and its treasures more than the worshippers inside the temple. They would do anything for money. Go to our first lesson, Proverbs. Proverbs 10. Read verse 1 to 3.
Proverbs of Solomon.
The Proverbs of Solomon.
A wise son maketh a glad father.
A wise son maketh a glad father.
But a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother.
But a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. Hold on. The sons of Eli, they were not wise because they yielded themselves blindly to the devil. They caused the people and their parents grief and pain inside the temple. Some of the women that those boys were sleeping with were probably married women. They must have broken many homes, just like elders that sleep around in the church with married women. When the husbands of those women find out, how do you think that feels? If you do that, you're a devil worshiper. It does not matter what you carry for ordination. Even when the women were single, what do you think happened to the women that were single that these sons of Eli slept with? How happy do you think men go after a woman that they know has dated X, Y, and Z? If you're a single girl and you're sleeping around in the church, you can be sure that your husband is not going to come from that church, because you're nothing but a whore in the sight of everybody else. And that is the reason many of those single people had to leave to go get married somewhere else, because these sons of Eli, like many elders, have messed them up. The sons of Eli, they caused a lot of people in the temple a lot of pain in their quest for pleasure. And they did not even realize it. They were so blind to the pain they were causing people in the temple. Read on, verse 2.
Treasures of wickedness profit nothing.
Treasures of wickedness profit nothing.
But righteousness delivereth from death.
But righteousness delivereth from death. The sons of Eli would not have died the way they did if they tried to be righteous. At the end of the day, the temple in Shiloh came to nothing, because it was defiled by the treasures of wickedness. And the devil worshippers in it could not be delivered from death. Go to verse 3.
The Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famine.
You see, you don't have to worship the devil because you're hungry. If you're a servant of God, God will provide for you. You don't have to worship the devil. You don't have to do things that hurt people in the church so you can eat. If you're a true servant of God, God will feed you. God will meet you at the points of your need. He says the Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish.
But he casteth away the substance of the wicked.
But God will cast away the substance of the wicked. The scribes and the Pharisees, they were wicked. The Jerusalem temple and its treasures were cast away because of their wickedness. Jesus in Matthew 23 verse 4 said, they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne and lay them on men's shoulders. He said, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. The scribes and the Pharisees, they oppressed and they suppressed the people. They paid more attention to the properties than the people. They did not care about the fatherless children, and they did not care about the widows. Fatherless children couldn't find rest inside the temple. Let me ask you, if a church will not protect fatherless children, who will? If a church will not protect widows, who will? Apostle Paul, he warned Timothy that there will be many men like the sons of Eli, the scribes and the Pharisees in the church in the last days. Go to 2 Timothy chapter 3. Read verse 1 through 5. 2 Timothy chapter 3, 1 to 5.
This know also.
He said, Timothy, this know also.
That in the last days.
That in the last days.
Perilous times shall come.
Dangerous times will come.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves.
Men shall be lovers of their own selves. Covetous. Boasters. Proud. Blasphemers. Disobedient to parents. Unthankful. Unholy. Without natural affection. Promise breakers. False accusers. Incontinent. They sleep with anything, anywhere. Incontinent. They have no control over their urges. Fierce. Despisers of those that are good. Despisers of those that are good. Traitors. Heady. Stubborn. High-minded. Lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. Lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. Having a form of godliness. That is the sad part. They come in white garment. They come with serious ordination. They have a form of godliness. But denying the power thereof. But they deny the power thereof. From such, turn away. Timothy was told by Paul, from such people, turn away. If you recognize anyone like this, turn away from them. There are people you need to turn away from in the church simply because of what they do and who they serve in the church. Let me ask you, who do you think the blasphemers serve in the church? Who do you think that unholy people serve in the church? Who do you think the despisers of those that do good serve in the church? How do these devil worshippers get into the church? How? How did they get into church? How do these devil worshippers get into the church? Go to your second lesson, Matthew 13. Matthew 13. Read the verse 24 to 30. Matthew 13, 24 to 30.
Another parable put he forth unto them, saying.
Another parable put he forth unto them, saying.
The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field.
The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. The church was not built for devil worshipper. The church was not built for blasphemers. The church was not built for the despisers of them that do good. God built his church on love. God built his church on holiness. God built his church on righteousness.
But while men slept,
that was the problem. While men slept,
his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat.
His enemies came and sowed tares among the wheat.
And went his way.
And he went his way.
But when the blade was sprung up,
and when the wheat came up,
and brought forth fruit,
and brought forth wheat,
then appeared the tares also.
Then the weed, the tares also grew with the wheat.
So the servants of the household that came and said unto him.
So the servants of the household that came and said unto him,
Sir, Did not thou sow good seed in thy field?
Didn't you sow good seed in your field?
From whence then had it thirst?
Where did this tares come from?
He said unto them,
He said unto them,
an enemy had done this.
an enemy had done this.
The servant said unto him,
Then his servant said unto him,
will thou then that we go and gather them up?
do you want us to go and uproot them?
But he said, nay.
He said, no.
Lest while ye gather it up,
Lest while ye gather up the tares,
ye root up also the wheat with them.
ye root up also the wheat with them. You see, this is where you have to be careful. When you see some people in the church, believe you me, sometimes you get the urge to punch them and push them out with every ounce of strength in you, but you can't do that. That is what you want to do, but that is what you cannot do. Because see what Jesus said, let them grow together.
Let both grow together until the harvest.
Let both grow together until the harvest.
And in the time of harvest,
And in the time of harvest,
I will say to the reaper,
I will say to the reapers,
gather ye together first the tares,
gather ye together first the tares,
bind them in bundles to burn them,
and bind them in bundles to burn them,
but gather the wheat into my barn.
but gather the wheat into my barn. See how Jesus interpreted this parable. Go to verse 36 through 39.
Then Jesus sent the multitude away
Then Jesus sent the multitude away
and went into the house.
and went into the house.
And his disciples came unto him, saying,
And his disciples came unto him, saying,
declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field.
tell us the meaning of the parable of the tares of the field.
He answered and said unto them,
He answered and said unto them,
he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man.
he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man.
The field is the world.
The field is the world.
The good seed are the children of the kingdom.
The good seed are the children of the kingdom.
But the tares are the children of the wicked one.
But the tares are the children of the wicked one.
The enemy has sowed them is the devil.
The enemy that sowed them is the devil.
The harvest is the end of the world.
The harvest is the end of the world,
And the reapers are the angels.
and the reapers are the angels. Thank you. That is how these devil worshippers get into the church. The devil plants them. I want you to notice that it says this can happen while men slept. If men did not sleep, the devil will not have been able to plant these tares. It was because the men were sleeping. You see, there were elders in Shiloh when Eli and his sons were doing what they were doing, but they were sleeping. And because they were sleeping, the devil used Eli to plant his unbelieving sons among the children of God in the temple at Shiloh, because the men of Shiloh slept. They were too afraid to speak up. They were spineless. They lacked courage. They slept. They looked away because they were afraid. The devil tried to do the same thing with Samuel and his sons. But you see, the men in Beersheba, they were not asleep. The men in Beersheba, they were courageous men. They stood up against the evil and they resisted Samuel. Go to 1 Samuel 8. 1 Samuel 8. 1 Samuel 8. Read verse 1 through 5. 1 Samuel chapter 8. Read verse 1 through 5.
And it came to pass,
He said, and it came to pass
when Samuel was old,
when Samuel was old,
that he made his sons judges over Israel.
he made his sons judges over Israel.
Now the name of his firstborn was Joel,
The name of his first son was Joel,
and the name of his second Abiah.
and the name of his second son was Abiah.
They were judges in Beersheba,
He made them judges in Beersheba.
and his sons walked not in his ways.
But his sons were not like Samuel. His sons were not good sons.
But turned aside after lucre,
They turned after money.
and took bribe,
They took bribe
perverted justice.
and they perverted justice.
Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together
Then all the elders of Israel in Beersheba, they gathered themselves together
and came to Samuel
and they came to Samuel face to face
unto Ramah
in Ramah.
and said unto him,
And they said unto Samuel,
Thou art old,
you are old.
and thy sons walk not in thy ways.
Your sons are not walking in your ways.
Now make us a king to judge us like all other nations.
Please give us a king to judge us like all other nations. Thank you. They would not allow Samuel impose his sons on them. They spoke up. You see, the practice and promotion of devil worship in the church requires three things. Number one, you need to have sons of Belial. You need to have a corrupt leadership. And you need to have a silent majority. You see, the sons of Belial, they are the children of the devil. And they're there to do one thing. They're there to do what the devil likes. Like promoting sexual immorality. You see, the corrupt leaders, they protect and they promote sons of Belial. Usually when they are related to them, or they are friends with them, or they can give them money. You know that somebody is not a born-again child of God, and they come and they give you money, and you take the money, you ordain them, and then you appoint them and put them in charge of the children of God. Samuel was a prophet and a judge who knew better, but he was blinded by the love for his sons. My friends, this prevalent practice of elders ordaining and imposing their unbelieving children on the church is actually a form of devil worship. Just like the practice of ordaining and appointing elders solely on the basis of their ability to pay fees and levies. These are all forms of devil worship. You should know that. You should speak against it. You should stand against it regardless what the consequences are. See what Jesus said in Matthew 6. Matthew 6:24. Matthew 6:24.
No man can serve two masters.
No man can serve two masters.
For either he will hate the one and love the other,
Either he will hate the one and love the other,
or else he will hold to the one and despise the other.
or else he will hold to one and despise the other.
Ye cannot serve God and money.
You cannot serve God and mammon. You cannot make rich men happy and make God happy at the same time. You have to choose. You cannot please rich men and please God at the same time. Mammon is another name for the devil. Why? Why do you want to promote devil worship? Ordination is supposed to be a reward of the people for doing the work of God. It's not a commodity. It is not a merchandise that we have now used to turn the church into fee and levy factory and then compromise the growth and the development of the church. My friends, Jesus said, while men slept, the enemy came and planted the tares. Are you sleeping and allowing the devil to plant his children? Or are you scared stiff Because you don't have balls. You're a wimp. You're afraid. Why are you afraid? What can man do to you? Stand up, speak up, and shut up. To God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy